Welcome, another AskOkey podcast coming to you live right now, that is, from Studio One. We have for you something a little bit different, and that is, as you can see, a pile of selected cloths. One of the advantages of being involved with AskOkey is I get to look at a lot of cloth. As you all know, Pete is me, and I have with me, you should not be surprised to see the prof here, looking resplendent. So come and join us. We're going to go through and talk about these different pieces of cloth and what you can do with them and where you might want to wear them, I think. So, Prof.
Yes, Pete.
Good evening.
Thank you very much.
Good day and welcome. All is well, I hope?
All is well, sir.
Good. Okay. So I thought we'd start with these two Russell checks. Now, they're called Russell checks because they have a rather distinctive design, which Prof will tell you about. And we have a summer Russell check from Huddersfield Fine Worsted, and we have a fall or winter Russell check from, I think who is that?
It's from Porter and Harding.
Porter and Harding, which
is a brand carried by Harrison.
Carried by Harrison's, which is our partner. So, Prof, tell us, first of all, what makes it a Russell check, and what can you do with it? Because it's pretty bold.
It's pretty bold.
It's very bold.
Scare the birds.
It will, and certainly scare the birds.
The Russell check does have some history behind it, which I must disclaim, or put out the disclaimer. I'm not steeped in the history, especially with tweeds and Scottish history, or the history around it. But there is a history behind the Russell tweed specifically, or Russell check. It is a very distinct check, very bold. This is not for the faint-hearted.
No, indeed. No.
This is something Nick Folks would wear.
I think so, yes.
With glee.
Yeah, he would like that.
I might add.
Yes.
He's a man who's got enough flair and charisma, I think, to carry something like this up. But back to the Russell check, as you can see, when you hold it up this way, Pete, let's just roll this out a little bit.
Yes.
It's a large checks, and it's just sort of woven. It's just very beautiful, but it's very bold, and it's very difficult to really appreciate how bold it is until it's actually made into
right.
a garment.
Okay, that's the thing.
You know, when you're looking at it as a bolt, you just don't realize how bold it is. But you know, if you hold it up and the camera zooms in, you can sort of get a sense of what this might look like.
So purple lines, or stripes, I suppose you could call them.
Exactly.
Purple or magenta, pretty bright purple or magenta lines. And then you've got these lines coming down here, sort of orange and dark gray on the tan background. And then you've got little lines.
Like olive stripes.
Olive stripes, that's what you would call them. And then little stripes coming down in the middle. And so it looks like a check from a distance, but up close, it's actually stripes.
Yes, it's just got so many colors in it, and it certainly will not go unnoticed. Now,
is this a suit or a jacket? Okay.
It could be either. It could be either. There are those who play it safe and make it up as a jacket, because the Russell check as a suit can be a little bit, can be quite overpowering.
It would indeed be,
and so I've seen it made up as a suit, but more often than not, you'll see this made up as jacketings.
Yes, and it's hard to know what you would do with these lines, because I'm thinking of the lapel.
Absolutely. It's very tricky to tailor.
It must be, yes.
Very, because they're so spaced apart. So like your typical checks are very, very closely patterned. So it's not as much a nightmare for tailors, but something like this is going to be, you really have to have a skilled tailor to work on the pattern matching.
And the same with the winter Russell check, which is the same design, but it's more orangey.
Correct.
Or brown.
Just fold it out this way.
Ah, right, yes. There we are.
You can roll it out this way.
And again, it's got not quite as bright, the purple. The lines, it's still orange, but I think the background is orangey brown, isn't it?
Right. This is slightly darker. It's sort of a darker background. as you can tell, it's for the fall, so slightly darker than the. That's more of a yellowish background.
It is.
So clearly more of a sort of summery color. Well, this is clearly a rust, sort of.
Yes.
A winter or fall, I would say, sort of more like a fall.
Yes, and obviously it's heavier. Now this is what, worsted?
It's wool. It's tweed.
Is it really tweed?
It is tweed.
It
is a wool. They're both wool, but that is a worsted, as you can see.
Yes, it is.
When you
it's
touch
not
it,
a tweed. Yeah,
it's got a flat finish to it.
It has.
So
it's about what? This is about what?
That's
12?
got to be about 12 ounces. 11, 12 ounces.
11, 12. And this would be 14.
This has
probably.
got to be about 15.
Oh, 15.
Ounces,
Oh, really?
About 15, 16
It's not very thick.
It's not very thick, but it does wear quite warm. As you can tell, it's a tweed. You can
Yes,
tell when
yes,
you touch it,
yes.
you can feel the
Yeah, it's
fullness
woven
of the
quite tightly.
Right.
Yes.
Right, that's more of a flat.
Yeah, amazing.
So there you have it. That's the.
And this could be this equally could be a jacket or a suit. I still wonder about these giant pieces on
Actually,
it.
I'd probably more inclined to do this as a suit than that, because this is less jarring. I think the yellowish background on the summer version, makes it a little bit more obvious or more noticeable. So something like this I might do as a fall suit.
A single or a double-breasted suit, probably?
Certainly single-breasted.
Single-breasted.
This is a shooting suit.
Right.
This is sort of a country fabric.
Right.
So double-breasted, I wouldn't do any country cut in a double-breasted. Double-breasted is a very dressy city cut.
Urban cut, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So something like this definitely would be, either a three-piece suit or a +4 if you have enough fabric.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes, for
or
golf,
something
yes.
of that nature.
And you
or
will...
a shooting jacket, a no-fault jacket.
Yes, and the birds, the grouse, will take flight when they see it. You won't have to have beaters
But this is certainly
to wake
a
them
bit
up.
more camouflaged.
Yeah, it is. That's right. Yes.
That you cannot wear in the shrubs.
No, I mean,
just
it
because
spots
it's
you a
so
mile
light.
off. But this
But
is
something like this,
a bit more.
actually quite get away with.
Closer to the leaves.
Absolutely.
Color of leaves.
Absolutely.
Okay, great stuff. So that's the Russell check, everybody, and you heard it here on AskOkey.
Just put that aside somewhere. Let's put it aside here.
Okay.
Put the Russell checks aside. There you go.
So we've essentially gotten divided: summer suiting, fall suiting, and fall jacketing. And as you can see, PROFF is partial to patterns, so we get quite a number of checks in different iterations. Let's take a look at this. Now, this is a fall suiting, dark brown.
This is beautiful.
It's quite something, isn't it?
It is beautiful.
It's a flannel.
Yes.
And not surprisingly, I presume it's Fox Brothers.
Yes, it's a plaid.
Yes, it's a plaid.
If you can hold
like
it
a Prince of Wales. Glen check, sort of a Glen check,
It's a Glen check, not quite a Prince of Wales, because a Prince of Wales would have an over check.
An over check, yes.
But this is just a plain sort of, plaid.
Yes.
Very faint, but just such a beautiful, elegant cloth.
Well, from a distance...
From a distance, it looks like a solid.
It would look like just a brown, yes.
Right.
But this is quite something, isn't it?
Yes.
A very nice feel to it.
Yes.
And this is what, about 18 ounces?
That's got to be about, I'd reckon about 14, 15,
Oh, just that, okay.
About 16 ounces maybe, but it's a flannel. That's why you can feel it's got a bit of body to it. But
and this is a suit, I take it?
Oh, 100%.
100%.
I mean, you could venture this as a coat, as a jacket.
Right.
Right? This could work as a sport.
But the trouble is, when you have Glen check jackets, it sometimes look like you left the pants behind.
Left the pants, exactly. Unless the plaids are very bold.
Like the Russell.
Exactly. So, for instance, that's why I avoid checks in sort of odd jackets unless the checks are very pronounced and bold.
And it couldn't possibly be a suit.
And it could not possibly be a
but
suit.
But this really should be a suit.
Yes.
And you would make a single-breasted, I take it, suit out of it.
You could
since it's brown.
This could be a double-breasted suit because it's soft enough. It's the glens or the checks are not pronounced. They're very subtle.
They are.
So this could easily make a sort of a Friday city suit or urban suit.
Like
a double-breasted.
A casual Friday suit, yes.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, with the everybody, with the Glen check here, you get a nice effect because it doesn't, from a distance, look like a check suit. It would just look like a mid brown, or solid mid brown,
like a chestnut brown.
Yeah, because you don't want a really solid brown. It's a bit much, but this pattern would just break that up nicely. Now, we were saying a couple of weeks back how difficult it is for people like me to envisage what it's going to look like when it's made up. But you have that eye, so you can sort of see which material, which pattern, and which weave will be right for something.
Correct.
Before it's made up.
Correct.
Yeah. No, this is magnificent, this one. And how many yards is this? 5 or 6 yards?
This is 6 meters.
6 meters.
I'm not sure what that translates to in yards for those of you.
Well, a meter is 39 inches, so add another 18 inches onto 6 yards.
So that's about 6 meters, which is about, typically when I see a fabric I usually get 6 meters just for a 3-piece suit if I decide. If I decided, because some of these fabrics, they're one-offs. And
that's right.
If you don't grab as much as you can at the time, you may not find it. So to be on the safe side, typically I go for 6 meters, which is about what I require for a 3-piece suit. And then if I decide to make it a 2-piece suit, I can keep the extra meterage.
Well, this one here, this brown Glen check, would look very well with a tan-colored odd waistcoat done in maybe camel hair.
Yes. I mean, there's so many things. You could wear it with a tatasol. Even.
You could also, yes, because the pattern's muted enough, isn't it? Yeah. Isn't that, yes, that would really look very well with an odd waistcoat, but you'd have to get the fabric right, because if you wore a worsted waistcoat or something too smooth, it wouldn't quite suit it. Absolutely. So you want maybe like a moleskin or a camel's
something
hair.
With a bit of texture.
Yeah, or another flannel. Now, speaking of suits, so this is Maison Hellard from France, and there we are, and it's sold as suiting.
Yes, it's a suit.
And it is a suit, and it's kind of a muted.
Gun club.
Use that word a little too often, actually, but it's a gun club. But again, like
very similar to what I have on.
It's similar to that, but it's nice because it's not quite so autumn leaves looking as many gun clubs.
Right.
Tend to be autumn leaves looking.
Right, that has the lime green overcheck, whereas this has more of an olive. But
it does. Similar. Oh, I see. Yes, of course. Yes.
It's very, very similar to what I have on.
Yes, it is. Yes.
A bit. This is slightly warmer. What I have on is slightly warmer. This is a bit more. It's a bit cooler.
But the beauty of this weave is that, I mean, you could wear this as a jacket.
Oh, absolutely.
You could make it a jacket.
Absolutely. This could be a summer jacket.
And this pattern is sort of one of those all-purpose patterns. You can wear it anywhere. It will never really look out of place. If you're anywhere casual, this is the one. And so if you're trying to pick and you don't want anything too bold, anything too risque, then this would be a good choice. And it's made of
This is linen.
It's made of linen.
It's 100% linen.
Yes. Doesn't feel like linen. At least to me it doesn't.
It is linen. And again, this is from Maison Hellard, which is about one of the very few linen manufacturers stroke merchants that carry patterns.
Patterned
so
linen.
It's almost impossible to find this gun cloth in a linen.
Yeah.
These I found just sort of serendipitously.
But that's wool.
No, this is linen.
Oh, it's linen as well.
This is linen, but this was an end bolt from a sort of a vintage bolt. I kind of took off the hands of an old retiring London lawyer, but something like this would be impossible to find today with regular mills. But the good thing about Maison Hellard, which we just signed up as one of our suppliers not too long ago, is that they have some beautiful patterns.
They do indeed.
And they specialize in linen. So I think they carry pretty much only linen. But they have such variety in their linen collection that that's usually our go-to if we're looking for something a bit more expressive in linen.
And you've had some very striking suits made from Maison Hellard linen
absolutely.
Recently, which we've featured on some of the other podcasts. Now this one is fall suiting, or I suppose jacketing, but I would think probably suiting.
I would say suiting.
Now this is a bit like the Agnelli or Agnelli
It is the Agnelli check.
patterns, the Agnelli check.
This is the Agnelli check
So it's-
in an airforce blue.
And this is London Lounge limited edition made by Fox Brothers.
No, this is not
No?
made by Fox.
Ah.
I believe it's woven by Lovat.
Lovat.
believe so.
Lovat Mill. Okay.
I believe it's woven by Lovat for London Lounge.
For London Lounge, yes.
Again, it's a limited edition cloth. For those of you who belong to the London Lounge club cloth, you would recognize this. It was made originally in a grey, in a charcoal grey.
That's right.
Which
yeah.
I've won.
Which
once.
you have, a suit
And
like
then,
that, yes.
There was such, it did so well that they reproduced it in an Air Force blue. So this is the exact Air Force blue equivalent. It's just basically a window pane.
Yes, it is. With
window
dark
pane,
blue,
dark blue
checks,
checks.
and it's not exactly a single color. It's little bits of white in it, little
It's
bits
got
of
many
light.
colors.
Yes, it has.
It
Hasn't
almost
it? Yes.
sort of feels like a Donegal. I mean, the
Yes,
colors.
yes,
It's
yes.
got these speckles in it.
Oh yes, yes. No, it has, and
Like Donegal-like speckles, but
that sort of breaks up what would otherwise be a bit dull because it would just be solid
Absolutely.
Air Force blue. And what is this? The weight of this, Prof?
This has got to be about 400 grams, I reckon.
So about 14 ounces.
420 grams. 400, 420 grams, about 14 ounces there.
About 14 ounces. So this would be just fine for the autumn and the springtime, actually.
Correct.
It's a bit dark, so it's not what you maybe associate with the springtime, but it's perfectly wearable in that weather. And I guess this will become a single-breasted suit?
You could also do it as a double-breasted suit.
You could.
So, yeah, absolutely.
But a
because-
challenge with these big squares, eh?
No, that's not a problem.
No?
I mean,
Ah,
any
okay.
good tailor with sufficient fabric should be able to match it. It's not a complex check.
Right,
If you
okay.
understand what
Yes,
I
I
mean.
do,
So
yes.
it's a very simple check. You know, not like something like this or
Right,
like the
okay. Yeah,
Russell
yeah,
check
yeah,
that's got sort of lines going in all directions. It's a very simple check, so something like this shouldn't be much of a problem.
Interesting.
In terms of pattern matching.
It's certainly a really fine color if you're partial to mid-grays or mid-blues, but you want something a
Unique
little
and
bit
different.
with a little bit of a visual effect to it. This is definitely the one, but sadly not really available because it was part of a limited run from Lovett Mill for London Lounge.
Correct.
But I think Harrison's has one that's a little bit similar.
We do have, I mean, we can proxy a lot of these things. So what we usually do is for some of this limited edition cloths that I have lying around, because I've been collecting cloth for ages. And sometimes I might have something made into an AskOkey garment, and people, you know, customers
I
say,
know people say, I want that, yes.
And so very often if we cannot find the exact fabric, we have obviously, as you know, a large library of fabrics between all our vendors. And what we do is that with our knowledge of the different vendors, we proxy. We do what we call a proxy. So we look for the closest equivalent to that particular cloth. And usually it's close, you know, it's close enough that the customer doesn't, you know, feels like they're getting the same exact.
Yes, and one of the challenges with our model and selling the cloth, posting the cloth on the website, is that depending on the calibration of your monitor, it looks different. So if you see this on the screen, it might look grayer or bluer. I saw one the other day, and it was said light blue, and it was pink. So it's very difficult, in having somebody like you or one of the team members who can actually advise what it really looks like is a big advantage for people. Now, let's roll that back up and put that there. So that's fall or spring or winter suiting. Now this, curiously enough, this is summer, but it's as heavy as a winter fabric, and this is that really
Heavy
robust linen from Harrison's Mercellaire. Harrison's Mercellaire, a name to conjure with in the trade, and very, very
It's about
thick,
505 over 500
sort of
grams.
linen twill weave.
Yes, it's very heavy linen.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, is this as heavy as the Maison Hellard heavy linen?
Yes, about. Maison Hellard, you know, the heavy linen sort of top out at around 500 grams. So Messeler is going to be between 500 and 550 grams. So something like this you would use for, or we use this for things like safari suits or jackets.
Yeah.
Since it's a summer fabric, or for casual jackets, really.
I mean, you could make a suit out of it.
You could make a suit out of it.
Make a very, very handsome
But
looking
it's
suit.
it's a very, as you know, it's a casual fabric.
Yes, and it's a navy, but it has a little bit of grey, or it's got a slightly greyish tinge to it, I think. Really. If everybody
Actually,
can see that.
that's the back of it. This is the face.
Ah, okay. There we are. Okay.
So this is the face.
So that's what it looks like. And yeah, you could make a very good summer work suit with this fabric. I mean, summer suit to wear in the office in the heat, and you couldn't go wrong. And of course, because it's heavy, you don't get that rapid crinkling that you get with regular linen.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is something to keep in mind. Now, we can source this fabric, can't we, from Harrison's?
Of course. This is sort of a
Fairly
one
easily.
of their sort of, perennial
Perennials,
fabrics.
yeah.
It's not a limited edition. They have this in production all the time. But this probably we will make into a safari suit or jacket.
Now safaris, we've got the safari jacket. So you mean you just put a pair of flat-fronted trousers with it? Probably.
The trousers are going to depend on the customer. And,
Right, okay.
But I'm not a big fan of flat front trousers.
No.
So I just think they lack art.
There you go. Well, they certainly don't need as much skill as the pleated ones.
trousers.
Now, autumn suiting, and we have this amazing bit from Fox, and it doesn't say if it has a special name,
It's
but
a
it's Fox
coronation.
Brothers.
It's called the coronation tweed.
Coronation tweed.
Right.
Wow, look at
And
that.
this was made for the king's coronation, for the King Charles.
For King Charles's coronation, so there we are.
It was made in a limited bunch for the king's coronation.
Incredible. Very lightweight, by the way. Very, very lightweight. You can't see that, obviously, from out there, but it is. You know, it's surprisingly
it's a tweed,
lightweight.
a very light tweed.
Yes.
Almost kind of like what do you call it? I don't remember. Name escapes me now. Shetland.
Shetland tweed.
Yes. It feels like a Shetland. You can almost see through it.
Red, white, and blue, obviously, for the coronation.
You put it up against the light. That's how you know sort of a Shetland.
Oh, yeah. Look
It's
at that.
very
Yes.
loosely woven.
Yes, you can see right through it. So this would be, you could pretty well wear this in the summer, okay?
Well, in a British, maybe Indian summer, or British summer.
In an English summer, yes,
English
I think
summer,
you could.
maybe.
So this is the face here.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
it's-
the coronation was in May, right?
Right, so there you
it
go.
was still sort of, cool enough that you could wear something like this.
And it has big herring, hound's teeth, and then a sort of curious-looking
It's like
shape.
It's like a plaid.
It is like a
Basically
plaid, yes,
plaid, but with
red checks.
red checks.
It's really quite magnificent, but I'll leave it to you to try and make a suit out of it. I don't think you'll get me in a suit that looks like this. On the other hand, if it's for festive occasions, then yes.
Yes. So I mean, something like this, you grab 6 meters of it. Again, like I said, if in doubt, I just grab 6 meters and then determine if I feel courageous enough, it might be made up into a 3-piece suit.
And that was another limited run.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, if you're like Prof, you watch the news of which fabrics are coming out, and grab some when you can. Otherwise, of course, it's too late. We'll be right back after station identification. Bye for now. AskOkey has been putting together its new made-to-measure line, suits, jackets, and trousers. Now, the response we've received has been absolutely overwhelming with all the expressions of interest that have come in. So much so that after some discussion, we decided to take pre-orders. To avoid delays when you decide to order yours, go to the website, pre-order, and get in line in front of the others. Bye for now. Welcome back to the second half of today's podcast. We're looking at cloth and various pieces in PROFF's rather diverse collection of fabric as yet to be made up. Correct. So presumably, as PROFF goes through the business of getting the tailor, getting the workshop to produce something in this, you'll replenish it. So you've always got a supply.
Yes. Well, provided there's room.
Provided there's room.
Yes. In a very increasingly overcrowded Studio One.
Well, there's so many clothes in it now, there's not so much room for the cloth. There was a time when there was more cloth
There was more cloth than clothes, absolutely.
Yeah, no. And this one here, we have a summer seersucker, dark blue, navy blue, Harrison's.
Like an ink blue, almost.
Ink blue, yes.
An ink blue, Mercellaire.
It's called Harrison's Mercellaire, and it's a seersucker, so it's got these little bubbles on it, little things on it, ridges. And this would be, it's a bit thin for a suit.
Thin. Yeah, but that's seersucker. That's,
right,
that's
okay.
Seersucker.
But will it hang? I mean, the pants will just billow like pillowcases.
Right, it does. That's the problem with seersucker. It doesn't drape well at all. So, it looks great for a jacket, but for trousers, it's always a struggle.
Yes.
But it is what it is. It's a summer fabric, so it's...
Yes,
it's
curious looking, because it almost feels like a shirt. It's that thin, and it's obviously made of cotton, so it won't take much of a crease, or rather it won't hang once you've pressed it. No. But you think a suit?
Well, I mean, depends.
You've got enough here for a suit.
Very often they're worn as suits, right? Especially in the South, in the US. It's very popular with country lawyers and country doctors.
There we go.
It's very, very traditional historic wear. That's the blue and white stripe version. And this, the navy blue, it's very rare. I mean, more and more you see them in solid colors, but the original seersucker is in the stripes. But for those who, let's say, wanted sort of a solid color, something not as radical or not as obvious, expressive, then a navy would just suit the bill.
Yeah.
You would get the seersucker qualities or the properties without the stripes.
So what's the point of these little ridges?
Frankly,
these little bumps?
I couldn't tell you. It's just sort of the pattern or the print, the way it's sort of woven. I'm not sure exactly why they're woven with those bubbles, but if you look at the white and blue stripes, which is sort of the more traditional,
the standard seersucker,
they also sort of have those.
No, it always does. It always has those little bubbles. But I'm just curious how they make those little bubbles. Those little ridges.
It's probably something in the weaving.
And they're sort of random sized, you see. Anyway, enough of that. So something original, something a little bit unique, if you want to be, or feeling unique, that's something for you. Now, winter or autumn jackets, and obviously you've got a much smaller piece with this, so it's not meant to be a suit.
That's,
and this is fox.
Jacketing, that's about 2.5 meters.
A piece of fox jacketing, and it's, let's see, there we are. It's actually a very, very nice piece of material, because you've got these sort of royal blue or French blue, I don't know what sort of blue actually, lines making a check, and then you have medium brown hound's teeth on a sort of tan background.
Yeah. I do have a suit made out of this. I had this made into a 3-piece suit.
Really?
Yes, in a 3-row 2-cut. So this this is a Cheviot. So
a Cheviot.
Cheviot tweed. It's got to be about 5 to 560 grams, thereabout.
Yeah, it's pretty. It feels quite thick, doesn't it?
It is.
Okay, so what makes it a Cheviot?
Well, it's just the way it is. I could sort of tell when I touched the fabric. For instance, I could tell the difference between this and the other Shetland. Mm-hmm. When you put up a Shetland, right, put up against the light, you could almost see through it.
Right, but you can't see through this
You
at
can't
all.
see through this.
No. So much tighter weave.
Right, it's a much tighter weave.
And this would be, again, if you were looking for something that you could pretty well depend on in any season, in anywhere, this would be it. Mm-hmm. It's not too bold, but it's not dull either.
Yeah, and it's
it's nice and light.
It could go either way as a jacketing or as a suiting because it's
Sure.
so subtle. It's so
It
subtle.
is.
It looks like a light. It looks like a tan, almost a tan from a distance, and you don't
Yes.
really get to see the checks till you come very close.
That's right.
So something like this,
That's right.
how I determine, or at least for me, how I determine sort of checks or patterns that are suitable for suiting is, how do they look from afar?
Right, okay.
If they look like a solid from afar, then for me it's a suiting.
Okay.
If it's, if
go.
you can see the checks from a distance, then you want to be careful.
Okay,
Right.
so interesting.
Right.
So it's only when you get up close that you would actually see that
Absolutely.
it's a check. But you could wear this with, say, the cream flannel pants.
Oh, absolutely. With
And it
cricket
would
flannels.
look brighter.
It would go with so many things. Cricket flannel, it could go with grey flannels, could go with dark brown flannels. It's
Dark
a very,
brown, yes.
very versatile fabric.
No, it is, and it's a really lovely color. Probably the Cheviot weave is probably a bit much for the summer. It's pity because it's almost a summer pattern. Mm-hmm. It's almost a summer pattern because it's
That's
very,
getting
very,
a bit
very light.
heavy.
That's getting a bit heavy. We can put it on top of the. We'll put it on top of the boots
We
there.
can put it down here, over here.
Okay, there we are. Yes, we don't want it to,
We don't
to
want
fall.
the,
no, we don't want it to fall
I
over.
don't
do we?
want this
No.
falling over. Let's just reduce the weight slightly. Okay.
Now we have something here. Fox again. Okay, well, obviously the Proff's a fan of Fox Brothers, but this is
Linen
this
cotton.
is linen cotton. It's slightly bilious color. Could you have an entire suit made of this?
Well, it is sort of. It's a summer suit.
Well, yeah, definitely.
It's almost like a pastel.
Okay.
So it's almost it's a bright. I mean, it's not that bright, but it's sort of.
No, it's not.
It's an olive. It's
Yes,
it's
yes.
a bright olive.
Yes.
It's a bright olive. So definitely, I could see this as a summer suit, but certainly a fun suit, not an office suit.
Oh no, Lord, no. I'm just thinking, is it a bit too much olive, all by itself?
Well, you could go darker. Certainly. I mean, I think there's one that is slightly darker. If you pull that out.
No, that's a grey color.
No, that's olive. Bring it out.
Is it? Oh.
Yes. Okay, so that's an olive as well.
Ah, right, isn't it? Yes.
This is an olive as well, which is sort of, so this is linen cotton. This is sort of linen and wool.
Linen and wool
It
mix.
almost looks like a fresco. If you put
Very,
it
very
in
thin weave, isn't
Exactly.
it? Yes.
It almost looks like a hopsack.
Yep.
So this is sort of
Feels like a fresco. Yeah.
It does feel like a fresco. So something like this is an olive, right? These are both olive, so to speak, but this is a very light olive. This is a very light olive, whereas this is a very dark olive.
So it's not a grey.
No. This is a very dark olive.
Dark olive. Okay,
Yes.
there you go.
So something like this, you could do an office suit out
No,
of
this I can understand as a suit.
It's dark enough.
Yes, but this
but
is
something like this would be a casual linen suit, a very
Right,
nice,
yeah,
bright,
yeah.
colorful, playful, casual linen suit.
I must say
with
though,
with a cream Panama hat and
yes,
and spectators.
yes. Oh golly,
and
Moses,
you're in there.
You certainly are. Yes, indeed. No, now you start to bring it to life. Do you know what I mean? And this is the tricky bit, is that if you see a color that you like, you think, oh, that's magnificent. Very important to think, okay, well, if I had it made up, what would I put with it? For example, what color shirt could I best put with it? What, as Prof said, the Panama hat, the spectator shoes.
This is an ecru shirt, okay?
Right.
You wear with, not with a white shirt.
No.
You wear this with like an ecru shirt, like a light yellow or lemon pink shirt, right? And
right,
then
got it.
With a Panama hat and spectators.
Yeah.
Or even sort of like tan shoes, tan loafers or tan Oxford.
Yes.
And it would be perfect with sort of, maybe a darker tie to anchor it. But something like this I would wear almost invariably with an ecru shirt or like a light yellow shirt, not a white shirt.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, again, something to keep in mind. Well, white shirts, Prof. I mean, who wears white shirts?
Well, they come in handy.
Really?
I wear them mostly with my blues and grays.
Right, okay.
Blues and grays mostly suitings. But outside of blues and grays, I avoid them generally. Avoid white shirts.
Yeah, I mean, I used to wear...
And of course, with your evening clothes.
Well, it goes without saying, but I used to wear white shirts all the time. Then I suddenly went off them, and I've never gone back to them. But this is an interesting color because it's, as you said, it's dark olive, but it's not kind of in your face, as the kids say, olive. But you can see at the ends here, it really is, isn't it? Look at the threads there, you see.
It is olive.
Yeah.
Very subtle olive.
And it's got a very nice kind of a pattern to the, do you see little lines of, little light-colored lines?
It's the weave. It's kind of woven like a fresco.
Yeah.
High twist.
Feels like a fresco.
But it's not a high twist. It's a linen, this is a linen wool.
A linen
blend.
wool mix.
Yes, that's the linen cotton blend.
Yes.
And the reason they blend it is, as we've discussed in prior sessions, is that the wool stabilizes the linen. Otherwise, the linen wrinkles a lot.
And what does the linen do for the wool?
Well, linen breeds, right? So for summer fabric, for a summer fabric, linen gives it more. It's more breathable, so it's cooler. But then the problem with linen, as we all know, is that it behaves very poorly. It's very badly behaved. So you can see here, the reason why this feels a bit smooth is that it's been blended. The linen's been blended with cotton, which sort of stabilizes the
You sometimes see wool, linen, and silk blends.
Correct, absolutely.
And maybe 25%
correct.
Linen, 15% silk, and the rest wool.
Exactly. And they all perform different functions. The silk sort of gives it that dressy sheen, kind of, like a nice sheen to it, whereas the linen makes it more breathable. It's more of a summer fabric. And then the wool stabilizes it, keeps it from...
Gives it the body.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking of wool, we have here, again, it's, as you said, it's sort of the cousin to the dark brown Glen check, the chestnut brown Glen check, Fox Brothers, and it's a green Glen check flannel.
Yeah, it's a beautiful kind of forest green.
It's quite something, isn't it?
Right.
Now, this would be a really good weekend suit.
Yes.
I mean, it's serious.
For those who like green.
For those who like green, yes.
Green is a color that is not very...
funny, isn't it?
Not very often.
No. But it used to be. I remember very well. It used to be quite a common color, especially with a brown stripe or a red stripe. But for some reason doesn't get a lot of love these days, green. So good to see it here. But these are sort of black or dark gray checks. And again, if you saw it from a distance,
looks like a solid green.
It would look like a solid green.
Or even a gray.
Yeah, because it is.
Depending on
it is slightly gray.
On it.
Yes.
If you from a distance, you might sort of mistake this for some shade of a gray.
Yeah. Well, gray is interesting, Prof, because you can have slightly greenish gray, you can have slightly brownish gray, and all different shades. So there we are. But this is a magnificent piece, and this is going to be a two-piece or a three-piece suit, maybe, but a single-breasted.
Right. So this is a country, certainly a country color.
And it's not very heavy. I mean,
it's about 400 grams, I reckon. So about 14 ounces, thereabouts.
Yeah,
It's
it's a fairly loose weave. So you're not going to boil to death in this. And it looks actually more robust, I think, than it is. It looks heavier than it actually is. But if you wanted something, if you're into weekend suits, this would be just the best sort of thing to have. Yes, unfortunately, Prof got it first. There we are. Limited edition, and Prof got it first. Now, this one, I think this
takes the cake.
This takes the biscuit, this one. And we did talk about this a couple of years ago in a podcast. And I noticed it on the shelf, and I thought, crumbs, that again. And what's amazing about it is about 1/8 of an inch thick. No, seriously. I mean, okay, not maybe 1/8, but certainly it's thick. And it's you could call it oatmeal, or you could call it not stone exactly, but it's really amazing because from a distance it will look
like
plain,
like
cream-colored flannel cloth. Which is it flannel, Prof, or is it?
It's not really. It's sort of like a combination of tweed, and it feels tweedish.
It does, doesn't it? Yes. Yes.
It feels fuller than a flannel. A flannel would be more spongy.
Yeah. So this is a bit coarse, isn't it?
Yes.
But the amazing thing is, it has little grey flecks and lines in it, and this would make obviously Prof's going to have it done up because he's got enough here to make at least one suit. Six meters. There we are. And so that would give you a 3-piece if you wanted. I for my money, I reckon this would be a jacket, but I can see it as a suit. It's going to be quite a pale suit, but I could see it as a suit. Really strong fall to winter cloth here. So if you're thinking ahead about your fall or winter wardrobe and feeling that the cupboard is a bit bare, then you might want to give us a call. And unfortunately, I think Prof's bagged this one, but it's a standard Fox standard Fox product. So we ought to be able to get it from Fox, who supplies for quite a number of our orders.
Yes,
people go for Fox, don't they? And this I've never seen something like this. Maybe I just haven't looked very hard, but I've never seen something like this from any of the other merchants. It's a pity they don't make the same pattern in, say, pale grey, but with these flecks in it, because that's really, really attractive, isn't it? And that's going to make an absolutely magnificent piece, that one. Well done, Prof. Congratulations.
Thank you, Pete.
Now, we've almost worked our way through the lot. Now, what have we got here? It sort of looks like denim, but it's not.
Yes.
It's a denim pattern, but it is in fact linen.
Yes.
So
and this is linen by Maison Hellard.
This is made on Maison Hellard, and you've got a choice, I take it. You can have the dark or the light.
Yeah, but that's the face.
Oh, that's the face, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's basically a standard blue, almost sort of a denim blue linen.
Well, it looks like denim because the
denim.
twills, the little twills, have sort of a white line in between them.
Right. So it's woven almost like denim, but it's 100% linen. There's no cotton in it.
And that will make a really good suit for the summer because it's not overbearingly navy. With the weave, you get a little bit of it brightens it, perks it up a bit, doesn't it? And that'll be something. And this is what, about
500 grams.
So, is it really?
Yeah, so that's a heavier.
Doesn't feel like it, does it?
Doesn't feel like it.
No.
You know, doesn't feel like it, but that's about 500 grams. It's really sturdy linen.
Now, when you look at this, Prof, are you thinking of a double-breasted or a single? Double-breasted?
Oh, for sure.
Really?
Oh, for sure. That's a double-breasted suit. For
Amazing.
me.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, I could make it into anything, but for me, this is a double-breasted suit. For sure.
And again, if you wanted a casual summer suit, possibly for the evenings, if your wardrobe runs to different suits for different times of day, on different days, And then this would be ideal, I think. The only proviso is because it looks like denim, people might think that
you're
you
wearing
got
denim.
your suit made by Levi's or something. With
Yes.
nothing wrong with Levi's, of course, but they're not the name that springs to mind when you think of suits. However,
Absolutely.
splendid piece of stuff there. It's quite strong, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You know, nothing flimsy about this at all. No. That's and that would last enormously long time, I would think. Now, what have we got here? We've got an autumn.
This is
Susan.
this is a hopsack.
This is a hopsack.
Yes.
Okay.
That's an Air Force Blue hopsack by Fox.
And hopsack, for those of you who are new to the business or new to the game, hopsack is a weave, so it's wool. It's about 12 ounces.
No, that's about 16 ounces.
Is it
It's pretty
really?
heavy, yes.
Crumbs.
It's about 16, 17 ounces. Pretty heavy hopsack.
Is that
you know.
is it that much?
It is. It is.
Golly, it doesn't feel like it.
But it's very finely woven.
It is. It's a hopsack, which looks sort of like a little bit a basket weave. I think you could call hopsack like a basket weave.
Well, that's the whole point of a hopsack. It feels like sort of you can see sort of the weaves.
Yeah, you can. And it's got
Basket weave is a different weave. It's much more open.
Ah, okay. And it's got slightly contrasting shades, so that you get, again, not a really solid dark blue. But this is this a work suit, Prof?
This is a work suit certainly. It's a work summer. So it's a sweet blue. It's an Air Force blue.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for something for the office for the summer months, well, not quite summer, I would say more because of the weight. But this is something more, you could wear it in the spring.
I would think so.
You could wear this comfortably in the spring. Or
well, certainly if you're sitting inside.
Right, in the spring. So the color is a bit springy, sort of light blue, sweet blue. So I wouldn't even call it a fall suit because, fall should be sort of darker brown. But this is sort of a spring color. But because of the weight, right? It's a summer color for me.
Yes, it is, yes.
This is a summer color, but because of the weight, you can't wear this in the middle of the summer.
Now that's odd because you're saying about 16 ounces.
It's about 16, 17 ounces.
Amazing. Because I would have said that this is almost a perfect summer fabric. There you go. You can't always trust your, what's the word? Your senses or your intuition on this.
It looks
Prof
like
knows.
It looks like a summer fabric.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, because of the color. Yeah,
because of the color.
And the texture.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's really very, very, very beautiful, and obviously it's available from
PROFF.
And we can source it for somebody out there who wants a small consideration. A very smart looking suit, possibly as Prof says, spring, summer, and that kind of thing. And then we come down to the last couple of pieces. We've only got a few minutes left, Prof. What I was going to suggest was, can we look at this one down here? Because this is, I've had my eye on this all the time we've been talking. Now this is quite something, this. Really fine looking jacket. When you feel it, your first question will be, where's the horse? Because it really does feel like a blanket. But it doesn't it? It sort of feels like a tweed, although I don't think it is.
It is a tweed.
It is a tweed, is it? Okay.
It is a Shetland.
Okay. So that nice.
It's part of the London Lounge collection. It's called the Royal Blue Gun Club.
The Royal Blue Gun Club.
So it is a gun club.
Yeah, it is. It's a gun club pattern because it has the darker check and then the lighter check going across.
And you don't see gun clubs in blue very often.
Unfortunately not, no, because I have an aversion to brown gun clubs. I don't know why.
Because they're very common.
I suppose so. And I prefer blue. I like blue and gray.
Yeah.
And so this, I've been eyeing it.
That's a jacketing for sure.
This is a jacket. Yes, no, I don't think this material is strong enough for a suit because the trousers would wear out very quickly.
Shetlands are not very good for trousering.
It wouldn't hold a crease either.
And not the worst part of it is because it's so loosely woven, it doesn't hold up as a trouser.
Yeah. But again, a jacket that you can take anywhere, you can wear it certainly in the winter, in the autumn, in the spring. If you're indoors, doesn't matter anyway, does it? It's nice and light. It's got a magnificent color to it. From a distance, it will look almost sort of bluey gray. And when you get up close,
You can see the checks.
you can see the checks. I would really recommend this. If you are ordering from AskOkey, ask for it. Although no, maybe not, because
We can
it's
proxy
limited
it.
edition.
We can proxy
proxy
easily.
it. Can we?
Easily.
Okay.
Easily, we have so many vendors that carry something similar.
Something similar.
WBL probably has
something.
something like this.
Anyway, great stuff. I think we're just about down to the wire. So thanks very much, everybody. I would say a pleasure to see you, except I can't. But take it in the spirit that it's given. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to being with you next time, as usual. Prof, thanks very much, and
you,
thanks
Pete.
for all your
Thank you for
knowledge
having
and allowing us to peek inside at the collection.
Thank you, sir.
There we
Thank
are.
you. Thank you.